Good morning, friends. Thanks for joining this morning. Journey Home Meditations morning sit. We are getting a little bit of a later start because I zoned out into some poetry this morning. And I'm happy to have done so. But I did want to take a moment. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I watch a lot of Dharma talks and things like this on YouTube and Substack and various sites. And oftentimes I notice that the hosts or the people being presented will say in the beginning of the video to please follow, like, share, all that. So I just wanted to take a moment to give that a shot today instead of saying it at the end. If you're watching this on YouTube or Substack, there's a handy little chat feature. Being able to create connections with other people in this practice is a really formative practice to have. It's also really helpful. It's helpful to each of us to be able to hear perspectives and experiences from one another, moving through these things. And we're just trying these things out, you know, even if it's a 10,000-year-old or more tradition or practice that we're stepping into, we're still new here, all of us. And having that communion along the way, it helps to remind us that even if I'm sitting alone in a room, I am not alone in this practice. I'm not alone in spirit. I'm not alone in this world. Some of us are seeking isolation and solace and in that solitude. I understand that. There's a lot of people that we interact with every day. But I'm not sure how many people we get to interact with on a level of depth into these very personal but universal emotions and openings that we're finding here. So I want to encourage you to participate through commenting, messaging, and using the chat feature. Also, throwing a like or a share on these videos actually does enter it into some category in an algorithm that allows other people to see it. I'm not sure how that works, but if you find benefit in these mornings together, share it along. Someone else will find benefit as well. And that's the spiel. I give that a shot. It doesn't feel as icky as I thought it might feel. But it does want me to have a few moments of silence. So let's come together to just be for a few moments, using this time to bring our focus and our attention inward into our own bodies through the breath, if you'd like, but however you want to get here from there. Let's go. allowing that space offers a buffer. Um, that space of reverence and silence allows me to not just ball through my day like a snowball, like collecting all of the things that want to tack on and add on, like I'm this big ball of emotional Velcro, right? Uh, just collecting up all of the lint and the hair and the buttons and whatever else it may be. Uh, but taking that pause allows for me to remember what it is I am doing, what it is I am attempting to participate in, um, and what it is I need to let go of. Um, I don't know if there's a hierarchy of importance in what happens, but I do know that my ability to be present is only as great as my ability to let go of everything else. Um, and that buffer really does help to slow my nerves and my sort of anxious um, desire to share or to do the thing. You know, I think that the doing is really interesting in the way that we move. No, let's step back. Let's step back. I find it to be curious how, in any moment, I am responding to the doing. Um, this morning, for instance, getting out of bed, Angela decided that she wanted to pop out of bed and go in and do a morning body movement practice. And I know that I would like to be doing a body movement practice. I know that I benefit greatly from doing body movement practices in the morning. Uh, I know how good it makes me feel to do those practices. And yet I was stuck in bed. I was awake, but I just did not seem to have the motivation to leave the blankets or get up and do the practice. Uh, so there's this hesitancy to do, right? And kind of, I'm sure that all of us have had this experience of laying in bed and you really have to like either talk yourself or be forced by the clock to get up and do what needs to be done. But then once you start moving and start doing it, then it's like you can't stop. You are now in constant movement. Your brain is now on fire for all of the things that you need to do and all of the things that you forgot to do. And um, now the anxiety is starting to shift. And now it's not an anxiety about being stuck to not do something. Now it's, I can't do enough. I need to do more, do more, do more. And you know, I find the moments before I leave the house on those days are hilarious for me to watch myself, because I will come in and out of the room or the space multiple times. You know, I'll just for sure forget something, and then I'll start picking up things. I'm like, will I need this? Will I need this book of poetry? Will I need 4 of these books of poetry today? I might need 4 books of poetry today. I don't know what's happening today. Do I have appointments today? Oh no, I have an appointment. Oh man, I forgot. Maybe did I double book? I think I double booked. Oh great. Oh, I forgot my water. I'm going to go back in and get my water. And you do all of this thing where I can't stop doing. And Then I get here into this space. And maybe this is part of my problem. And I get here into this space, and then I'm reminded, oh, yeah, take these breaths. And this morning, uh, as I sat down on my mat, on the pillow, I had all of these ideas about what I wanted to share in my thoughts this morning, the ways that I was working through some of those observations of myself and some things that I saw in Angela. And it was really triggering a lot of like, oh, yeah, this is a valuable bit of information that I'm observing. Like, there's value in understanding this process in myself. And then I sat down and I started to just take those few breaths, and I found myself singing. I started to sing, and I realized how long it has been since I just sat and sang, just to sing. And I started feeling the movement through my body, the vibrations in my chest and in my throat. And now I've started feeling this openness and like, oh, and my shoulders started to relax. And I started to think, why did I ever stop singing? And I think that um, for me, it's directly related to this insecurity about my ability to sing. Not even my ability to sing, my insecurity about whether or not my singing would be, is it good enough? Is it good enough? Uh, and so then feelings of fear, of embarrassment, even by myself, uh, started to come up like, oh, yeah. And it started to relate directly back into my observations this morning. And so it's like, it's this feeling that I'm having like, yeah, this is your work today. This is your work for right now, just in this practice. Let's work on your belief about yourself not fitting the model in which you would like to present, and how that inhibits us from doing the things that we love, the things that make us feel good. And there's a huge benefit in that practice of doing something with your body that just feels good, that just brings joy. It has to serve no other purpose. It has to only bring joy. And the other benefits will come, but I think we oftentimes forget the benefits of joy. We have the benefits of pleasure that we seek often. And I conflate pleasure and joy, but pleasure is this sensation that I get from something. I eat some chocolate and it's pleasurable for a moment. Um, most of my pleasures revolve around either food or sex. Um, those things are pleasurable. They have a body sensation that feels good. But those things don't always spark joy. They don't always bring for me a feeling of deep happiness and contentment to be in the moment with a curiosity and an excitement for the possibility of what's next. And that's what joy feels like to me. But things that do bring joy are, reading and writing poetry, and singing, dancing, moving my body, um, doing these activities and things that allow for an expression that gets beyond my mind's expression and fulfills a desire that goes beyond my emotional desires. And I am trying to do the work to understand where the block is when we do those things. We stop singing, we stop doing yoga in the mornings, we stop dancing when we hear music we like, we stop ourselves from stepping into a dance floor when a band is playing. Um, and what sorrow exists in the aftermath of that? So I'm thinking about this morning, lying in my bed. And then I come downstairs and I see Angela, and she's on the yoga mat and she's doing some stretching. And I immediately just feel happy for her. I have this like happiness, like, oh man, yeah, look at that. Like, I said, I bet that feels good, huh? And we had some discussion about that. And I was thinking, what is it that kept me away from that today? And I can only think, as I step through the initial feelings, that there's regret at the top of that, and then there's shame and embarrassment and maybe a little resentment towards myself for having stopped. And so we start to go down that path of, well, it's been so long, I haven't done this in forever, I'm not going to be any good at it, it's going to be embarrassing, I'm just not going to do it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Well, maybe I'll start Monday. It's fine. And we have this relationship now with the things that bring us joy of um, obligation and resentment and regret and shame. And those things are the things that are stopping us from just getting up and moving your body, just dancing or just singing, just sing. And the practice this week has been talking about love everybody and the ways in which love can um, be embodied in all of these different ways. And this one really was strong for me today to consider how to just be joyful in your body today. Do the thing that brings you joy. Be embarrassing. So let's practice a little bit of that for just a moment. I actually want to read a poem that when I got lost in poetry a bit this morning, this is one that I've read probably 5 or 6 times today, at least through. And it really sparked good images for me and really helped in my practice. So it's called Dance Russe by William Carlos Williams. If when my wife is sleeping and the baby and Kathleen are sleeping and the sun is a flame white disk in silken mists above shining trees, if I in my north room dance naked grotesquely before my mirror, waving my shirt round my head and singing softly to myself, I am lonely, lonely. I was born to be lonely. I am best so. If I admire my arms, my face, my shoulders, flanks, buttocks, against the yellow drawn shades, who shall say I am not the happy genius of my household? I love it. That's how it feels. When you're alone and you're doing the thing that brings you joy, you are the happy genius of your household in that moment. Yeah. But the practice of opening up those blocks, it can actually be a breath practice as well. So let's do a breath practice that can help with that. We're going to do a couple of different practices to help open up some places in the body, because thinking about things and talking about things is not the same thing as the doing. And the doing is important when we're talking about embodying. Really getting in there and opening pathways can be really important. So, the first practice that we're going to do is a breathing practice called Kapalbhati. It means shining skull. If you are seated, as I am, on a mat, floor, pillow, cushion, or chair, you might have your legs crossed uh, or feet flat to the floor. But wherever you're sitting, you want to make sure that you're not adding any unnecessary pressure or tension to your knees, your hips, your lower back. So check in and make the adjustments. A pillow underneath your butt really helps with a lot of those feelings of tension in your upper buttocks, lower back that might arise from sitting with your legs a little higher than is comfortable. Um, and checking on your knees, adjusting your cross position or coming out of that position altogether. It can be quite helpful. But what we do want to do for this practice is to be sitting upright as much as you can. You can be supported. That's fine. You can have a backrest or a pillow behind you or the wall. Um, but this practice is a practice of forced exhalation. We aren't going to think about or worry about the inhalation. Remember that our breath is part of the autonomic nervous system. It's going to do its thing without our conscious thought. We're going to breathe. But when we bring conscious thought to the breath, we are now participating in breathing practices, breath work. And we're going to bring that work to the exhalation. And this is a practice of the diaphragm, which is, right at the bottom of your chest, at the bottom of your ribs, and opens downward into those soft places of your belly. And this is the muscle structure that is responsible for bringing breath into the body and contracting the body to put the breath out of the body. So what we're going to do, sitting upright, you want to breathe, check your nose, make sure that you've got clear passageways there, because you might launch a boogie right onto your coffee table or whatever it is if you don't have clear passageways. And the practice looks like this. We breathe in, we breathe out. Two more of those. Breathing into the belly, letting the belly get big. So we have now done a little stretch with the diaphragm, and we'll begin by closing the mouth and forcing exhalation rapidly out of the nose like this. So that was 10 of them in a row. We're going to shoot for around 50 of these. And of course, if you start to feel discomfort or lightheadedness, please stop and resume regular breath. Find yourself some rest. But doing this practice is a wonderful opening for the body. I'm not going to talk anymore about it. Let's just do it and you'll see. So breathing in. And begin. Breathe out and hold. And breathing in. One more round. Begin. Hold. Then breathe in and hold. And when you exhale, exhale with a large sigh. Breathing in. In. Okay, sit and just see how that feels to have that shift. There's some awakenings occurring, some things come alive. Um, Allow yourself to feel that openness, that occurrence of a new energy. And for the next and last breathing practice we'll do today, we're going to do Brahmari pranayam, Brahmachari pranayam. It's Brahmari. Yep, Brahmari. It's been a long time since I've used the words. This is a humming bee breath, is the English translation, what this is known as. Humming is, we know what humming is, making the noise with your mouth closed, and that brings the air out of your nose. And this practice actually increases nitric oxide levels in the body, which is an innate production of the body to help open the blood vessels. It's a blood diavacillator. Is that right? Yeah, diavacillator. That helps open the blood cells, which helps to release CO2 from the blood cell, which helps to uptake oxygen. This is great for increasing energy. This is great for increasing our abilities to feel happy, to feel kindness. Serotonin levels can rise. And an overall general sense of well-being can start to come in easier when we can oxygenate ourselves in a healthy way. It's not nitrous oxide, it's not laughing gas, but they are similar. And nitric oxide is something that our body can produce to help us with these processes. And studies show that it increases it over 1,000% just by humming for 30 seconds. So we're going to do 3 long breaths of humming outward. And what we're going to do when we do this, if you have glasses, you can take them off, but we're going to be covering our eyes with our hands, applying just a small amount of pressure to the eyes. And we're going to have our fingers, our thumbs, over our ears. And the practice is to open and close your ear flaps there, creating a vibratory sound, like a fluctuation of the sound. The word is not in my head, but it looks like this. You can see that I'm opening and closing. This is not necessary, but if you can do it, give it a shot. It's an interesting practice to try. But we're going to do 3 breaths and humming for the entirety of the out breath. And breathing in. Begin. Just return to natural breath. Bring yourself into a meditation posture and let's just breathe. Bringing your awareness to the body, that loving attention, that kindness and compassion. I think it's been important for me to understand that my concepts of what is good enough are all kind of rooted in growing up based in a consumption culture. Um, I remember growing up watching shows like Star Search and seeing these mostly children get on stage and perform and sing, and there'd be one winner at the end, and the other ones weren't good enough. And I remember all of the things, when a new song would come out by a new artist or whatever it was, everybody's response to it was so harshly critical, and it was very rarely like, "Oh, I guess that song's just not for me. It's not. It doesn't do anything for me." It was always, "This is horrible. This is the worst. Who is this person? What a hack." And I think we learn those lessons really young that don't sing unless you're really good. You're wasting my time. You know, in the movies, the person who was a poor dancer was always the comic relief. So we don't want to be laughed at, so we don't dance. And all the ways in which those levels of um, shame can pervade our bodies and the things that bring us joy, all of those are also things that keep us just a little bit away from love everybody, just a little bit away from it. to getting things moving in your body, going into the practices that you know bring you joy and that feel good. Even if you're out of shape or out of practice with them and you fumble and stumble, it's all right. Have fun, laugh at yourself when you're stumbling through a yoga session. Make it a dance, make it fun. Sing out of key, break down the door. It doesn't matter. Um, this is how we can embody the practice of love. Being embarrassed. Okay, I'm going to read the poem. We're not going to get into discussion about it. We've discussed it each day this week, but I think reading it is good. This is number 23 of Appalachian Elegy, Bell Hooks. Fantastic book we are working through from beginning to end, but we're staying in this place for a few days. We're sitting here. We're sitting with this one. Number 23. Bring Buddha to rest home in Kentucky hills, that outside each window a light may shine, not a guilt-teaching tradition. Be balanced, know loving kindness, end suffering, rejoice in the oneness of life, then let go. Carry nothing on your back, travel empty as you climb steep mountain paths. Outside each window, a light may shine, not a guilt teaching tradition. Just recognizing that. Maybe I've learned a tradition of guilt. And just because something is repeated doesn't mean it works. So bring that Buddha in. Hadi Om.